Okay, 8th graders, pretty easy little assignment for you guys to complete at home today. You guys will be going over 2.1 and 2.2 thermal energy. Your learning targets for today are I can relate kinetic energy to temperature. So really we've learned a couple times over the last couple units about kinetic energy. So we're talking about energy and motion. So if something is moving, it has kinetic energy. So now we're going to go ahead and relate that to temperature. So first things first, you guys need to add to your OneNote. So go into your OneNote and add temperature, the average kinetic energy or speed of molecules in matter, and add key concept number 4. Temperature is a measure of the average kinetic energy of the molecules of a thing. I prefer matter than saying thing, but that's okay. So it should look like this. We have thermal energy in your vocab section. Here's temperature. And in your key concepts, here's key concept number 4. Okay, all right, moving on, part 2 simulation. So you guys can go ahead and right click and open up your simulation. Should look something like this. Okay, you guys have already had an opportunity to kind of explore that, but maybe take a couple more minutes and refresh what you guys can and can't do in this simulation. Okay, so part 1 of this, you guys are going to open the simulation. You're going to add one sample and turn on the view kinetic energy toggle. So add a sample, you guys can choose the size, it really doesn't matter. And then up at the top you guys will see view kinetic energy, so turn on that toggle. What you guys will see is matter with low kinetic energy, you'll see kind of this grayish dark color. And if it has high kinetic energy, you guys will see this bright yellow color. Okay, so explore different ways to change the kinetic energy of your sample. So kind of mess around with this, see what you guys can do to change its kinetic energy from either right now it's low to high and then maybe back down to low again. So based on your exploration in the sim, what do you notice about kinetic energy? So what did you guys notice there? Moving on, you guys are going to start over by resetting the simulation. You're going to add 2 samples. You're going to keep your guys' toggle off for this one. So you're going to kind of make a prediction first and then you guys will toggle it. So we're going to go ahead, reset everything. We're going to add 2 samples and do not turn on the view kinetic energy toggle yet. Make one sample have faster molecules than the other sample. Really, as far as this goes, you guys can kind of choose which samples you do. You can do 2 different sizes or the same size, doesn't really matter. But again, for this first part, you're going to keep your toggle off for your kinetic energy. So then again, make one sample have faster molecules than the other. So mess around with this simulation. Your goal is for either sample A or sample B to have molecules that are moving faster. So think of how you guys might accomplish that. And then I predict that the warmer sample with faster molecules, so the one that you made faster, will have, and you guys will use the draw tool to either circle more, less, or the same amount of kinetic energy than the cooler sample. So make sure you guys circle that answer. And then you can go ahead, flip your toggle on, and tell me which sample had the higher kinetic energy. So you guys can kind of relate that speed to kinetic energy. Okay, last little part here is your reflection. You guys have some questions to answer. So first off, you guys will have 2 pictures. We have sample A and sample B. Note what you guys know now about kinetic energy and that key, how that little key works with your kinetic energy right here. Okay, so you guys are going to click and drag and match the little hot or colder to the correct sample or the correct picture. So which one's hotter, which one's colder, so you guys can click and drag and place it wherever it needs to go. Okay, you guys are going to do that on the same part. So next one, we have again hot or colder, which one's going to go where. Notice the lines after each of these circles. The circles are going to represent molecules. So what does that kind of tell you about their movement? And then same with this one, you have hot or colder. So drag which one goes where. And then you guys will need to calculate the averages of each of these. Okay, it might help you guys to first calculate the average. So in the introduction we talked about temperature being the average kinetic energy. So this is going to be kind of where we start to tie in temperature, and when we learn about averages, why that plays into it and why we had to review averages. So go ahead, calculate sample E and F right here. Here's the calculator. If you guys need it, just right click it to open it up. It'll take you into a calculator. Remember, to find the average, you guys need to add up the sum of all the numbers. In this case, there's 9 molecules each. So add up each of these numbers and then divide them by 9 because we added up 9 numbers. Okay, so tell me what is your average for, or your temperature, your average kinetic energy for E, and what is it for F, and then tell me which one's hotter and which one's colder. Okay, finally, do your wrap up. Do you have any questions? Circle yes or no. If you have any questions, type them there. But of course, if your questions are something that are preventing you from completing this worksheet, let me know right away. And then 4, 3, 2, 1, how do you think you did on this assignment? You are all done. You can now hand it in, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.